Hey, welcome to Beers with Bud. Today we got Jared Brauchler with us. Thanks for joining, buddy.
Of course, anytime.
Cheers, bud.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. So welcome to the show. Appreciate you joining along. Once again, Montucky's on the ballot for this episode, which seems to be a fan favorite and also everyone's favorite apparently at this point.
Yeah.
So Jared, tell us a little bit about your beer preferences, buddy. What do you prefer? What do you like? What
beer
do you stock
preferences for me? That is a loaded question because I'm pretty much happy with anything really, as long as it's a cold snack of some sort, right?
Oh yeah.
The hoppier, I'm more falling off the wagon in the hoppier, I guess, personally, right? You start throwing double IPAs at me, and then I start cringing a little bit. So. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm pretty open to just about anything. Sour beers are my favorite, though. I will have to say that I do have a favorite. It's definitely sours.
That's a weird take on that. I don't think a lot of people like sours, but I guess enough people do, right?
I mean, they make them, so I feel like I'm not the only one buying them.
Don't feel strange for it.
Yeah, I mean, throw a Warhead in there, and the more sour it is, the better. So,
nice, dude. So. I asked this to one of my last guests. Break down for me some events that you love having beer a part of, right? Mm-hmm. The last guest I had talked about concerts as one of his favorite things. Mm-hmm. Where he was like, "I love having beer at concerts, like tailgating concerts." What's it for you?
Man, beer for me is more of a relaxing drink, I think.
Yeah.
I like doing it while I cook a lot,
yeah.
Right? If I'm just chilling watching TV. Or, I don't know, just hanging out talking like this, right? I think if I want to party, though, that's when I hit the hard liquor, right? Because just hits you faster, gets the job done, and it doesn't fill you up and make you feel gross by having 10 of them right away, right?
Yeah.
You just get more hyper until you pass out, pretty much.
Right.
So I think, beer for me is more just a chill, kickback drink, summertime, hanging out with friends.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. One of my favorites though is boating. I don't own a boat, but I've been plenty of times now. Plenty of people that have them. I love having beers when you go boating, especially if it's more of the recreational type, and even if you're doing the fishing trip, right? The boating trip on the fishing trip with the boat. I think there's just something weird. There's like something cosmically related about having beer while you're on the water on a boat that just like is perfectly mated in cosmic reality, dude, where you're just like, this just feels right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I love drinking beer when I'm on a boat. Love it.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but recreational fishing, that's one of my favorites, dude, is being on a boat. And you and I go back a while, and we used to go boating.
Oh yeah,
had some
without beer though, unfortunately.
Yeah, we were way younger, obviously, but it was fun though.
It was great time.
Good time, yeah, it's a very good time.
Oh, gosh, I can't wait to do that to my kids the way my stepdad did.
Hey, Al.
My gosh, yeah, my stepdad Al. Man, I just remember those times that he would just absolutely wreck us on that tube. I've never seen anyone be a nicer guy, but also the meanest son of a bitch you'll ever meet when it comes to just like not giving a crap how hard he throws you off that thing.
Yeah.
And that was Al. Yeah. It was cool, right? Super nice guy, but man, he just had no remorse when it came to flipping you off that thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Good times.
Absolutely. But you're right, dude. Owl. Woo. Owl. That man, for some reason, seemed to have that natural eye of finding the choppiest water he could find that was mixed in with wakes from other boats that he would just throw you in at like 60 miles an hour from the whip, right? And just destroy you.
Yeah, didn't give a shit.
Oh man, I remember like a couple of times I'd get bounced so hard off the inner tube and flying in the air, I could see my shadow in the water in the air, like my whole body silhouette. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to get hurt.
Yeah.
It's like hitting concrete that fast,
Well, and it's interesting how much the world slows down when you're just a rag doll in the air. You're like, I don't know where I am, but wherever this takes me, I hope I'm okay.
Yeah, it's similar to the scene in Talladega Nights, right? When Ricky Bobby flips up and goes, "Yep, I'm flying in the air, just not good."
Yeah.
And just douche.
Yeah. You feel like you got way too much time to think about dying.
That's what I'm saying. Like I remember several times just seeing my silhouette of the shadow in my water, in the water, my shadow in the water.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, man, boating for me is a big beer time. Fishing for me is a big beer thing, especially because I've touched on it before, but in Montana, a lot of it, we've had it 50-50 from when I was a kid growing up. It was a lot of river fishing and bait fishing. And they're two different animals, right? As far as one requires a lot of moving and recasting and, finagling and positioning and maneuvering and, all that stuff. Yeah. And then bait fishing, on the other hand, with a rod and reel is the exact opposite.
Right.
And it is like throw your line out and you throw your line out in the middle of the lake as far as you can get it and you sit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as I gotten older, bait fishing has become more of the style I like.
Okay.
Because it allows you to throw a pull out in the water, leave it, set it and forget it, and drink as many beers as you can between fish you catch. Right?
Yeah.
But obviously as a younger kid, I was more apt to the river fishing because you're constantly moving, you're constantly recasting, you're trying to find pockets of water, still ponds and nice little nooks that had tiny, small swirling water where you could find pockets of fish in and stuff. That was what you were trying to search for. You were constantly searching for areas to fish in. And, literally 180 that to the bait fishing.
Yeah.
And in the last couple of years especially, I've just been like, oh man, I love bait fishing. Put a big old weight on that thing as heavy as you can get it without snapping your line, throw it out there, right. Set it, forget it, and just continue to drink beer all day and all night.
Priorities.
Yeah. Yeah, beer plays a factor in a couple of things I like to do. A lot of it is outdoors, though, for sure.
Yeah.
But so tell me what you stock your fridge with, though, like on a day-to-day basis, right? Like what do you like to typically have in there as you're readily available?
I'm a seasonal guy. I'm weird like that. In the winters, I'm definitely on the heavier beers. Yeah. I think right now I haven't quite adjusted to summertime beers yet. So I've still got a few like gingerbread ales from, the
fall.
What's that?
Gingerbread beers from the fall.
What the hell is
the fall? Like the fall season, fall.
Oh yeah, sure, right, yeah. But I actually got them when I was in DC for work at at the brewery.
Okay.
New Belgium.
Oh yeah.
Right? No, Guinness. Remember Guinness? It's the Guinness Brewery. And they had this gingerbread seasonal ale, and pretty good, pretty expensive, but it's like 14% alcohol.
Nice,
pretty freaking high.
So is it like the sweet type gingerbread, or is it like the nasty?
It's like it's a spicy beer. You know what I mean? It's just got that ginger spice to it.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's you definitely tell it's got cinnamon in it and stuff like that.
Synonym.
Shit, synonym.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I definitely can jump on the seasonal train too, right? Because summer comes around, and I've spoke about it before on this podcast, but I'm typically a strictly Budweiser, Busch, Coors,
sure.
But when summer comes around, dude, sometimes on a really hot 98-degree weather day, a Bud Light Lime that's ice cold is pretty damn good.
Really, any ice cold beer on a hot day is good.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah,
but there's just that. Corona with a lime. I like Pacifico with lime too in the summer or like warmer weather.
Fair.
For sure.
Yeah, I feel like you're not going to go drink a milk stout in 100-degree weather and be like, glad I did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not going out on the boat with your boys and being like, milk stouts today.
Yeah, nobody's doing that.
Nowadays, it seems like, what's crazy though is it seems like nowadays people are substituting that with like White Claws and stuff, hard seltzers.
Yes, well, because you can drink 20 of them and not feel full. It doesn't have that same beer effect that this does, right? For
sure. And the thing is that every company now has one. Every company, White Claw really, I don't know this for sure. I feel like White Claw really pioneered it though, right? They set that bar, and now all of a sudden, like Coors has one, Anheuser-Busch has them. You know what I mean? Bud Light has them. That's what I mean by Anheuser-Busch. Everyone's got a seltzer now. Corona does.
Yeah.
Everyone has a seltzer now, and it's like, okay, why all of a sudden is this happening? And then now
white girls.
Yeah, I get it. I wouldn't know, but that seems to be the demographic for sure.
Yeah. Did you see that White Claw came out with an 8% version now?
I did see that.
I'm actually kind of want to try that.
I kind of want to try it too, which I think my father would disown me for saying that, but
ignore this, Fred. Cover your ears.
Yeah. I think it's like Bud Light Platinum.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the same thing,
a great
right?
comparison.
But I cannot stand Bud Light Platinum. I think that stuff is disgusting. I think it's
You
gross.
actually notice that big of a difference?
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, it's just alcoholic
100%.
water.
No, I understand, but like there's a specific taste that when that beer gets that heavy of content of alcohol in it, there's a specific taste that I'm like, oh, it's harder to choke down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're working for it, and you're like, I don't know if I like that. You know?
I guess we'll find out. I'm going to try it, though. I mean, it couldn't hurt.
And maybe if you get a couple beers in me, you'll be like, hey, let's switch to these White Claw Platinums or whatever they're called.
What are they called?
I don't know.
I mean, neither.
I saw a post for it, you know, like on a social media page as I scrolled past, and I was like, oh, crazy. You know?
Yeah.
Oh.
Maybe it's White Typhoon now or something like that.
White Talon, dude.
Yeah.
Instead of a claw, it's a Talon. Are you going to look it up?
Yeah.
All right. Well, hopefully you're better, great value Jamie than Keith, because he was not good.
White Claw.
Yeah, Keith, if you're watching this, I'm putting you on notice.
You're on blast, bruh. Surge. White Claw Surge. I was close.
Yeah. White Claw Surge, dude.
Man, I should have named it. Typhoon's way better.
You should have. You should be their marketing executive. Gosh. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's right.
No, dude. But so, tell me about what you do outside of work, right? So, I don't know if you want to talk about what you do for work, but what is it that you do that is preparing you for where you want to go? What are your goals?
I mean, I'm in IT, so that is something that I do enjoy doing it as my job, but as my true passion, I'd probably say I'm getting paid for it, but it's not my true passion, right? You know, I went to school for finance, and I chose that because it was actually something I was interested in, and I wanted to learn more about it. Yeah. So I've always gone with the plan of you pick a career that can make you money and that you can somewhat enjoy, but you pick a hobby that can also make you money, but you're passionate about.
Right.
And that's kind of how I lived, right? I've always just picked hobbies that I can fall into outside of my career and job that have nothing to do with that career, and still try and be able to make money from that, so that I can just enjoy them more, really, and in more quality and quantity.
Yeah. And it kind of goes back to the old saying of, you know, if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life.
Very true.
And I think that's kind of the thing that people, the light at the end of the tunnel that people strive for, is that people kind of do what they have to do to try to get to their end goals, to where they can, you know, in a retirement is typically that thing, right? But they can get to where they do what they love and not have to worry about everyday stressors like financially, right?
Yeah.
Especially I think that seems to be the main one. And if you figure out how to combine your profession, your hobby, and your lifestyle,
yeah, if
you can really get that trifecta narrowed down and focused up, I think that you could definitely. I think that's where you reach your epiphany of you've made it, right?
Yeah, fair. That's actually a really good point, because that's what I'm teaching myself right now, is combining my IT skills that I've learned in my career and my passion for finance, and actually trying to meet in the middle by taking classes to learn how to code Python.
Yeah.
Which it's a coding language. Sure. Right. Because I want to build a bot, right? You know how on Instagram, right, they'll say, oh man, these bots are crazy, because they'll just automatically come in and be like the first to comment on something stupid about, hey, come check out my page.
Yeah.
Right. Those are bots that are programmed most likely with Python.
Okay.
That some IT guy came up with this code that said, hey, when this happens, you do this.
Right.
So I'm trying to do that, but with finance and trading.
Okay. So I'm gonna rewind this conversation and unpack it a little bit. I am not very much on the tech savvy side of things.
Okay. Right.
So go ahead and explain to me a little bit about what Python is.
Python's a coding language. So the internet is mostly Java. Yeah. It's just a language of computers. Let's just call it that, right?
So it's kind of like specifications of like how things are typically ran, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's just...
is that accurate?
Yeah. It's just a specific language. If you knew Spanish and I knew American, you would be Python and I would be HTML or Java or something like that, right? It's just a different language to do the same thing.
Right, okay.
Right? There's tons of different ways to get to the same point, and it's just whatever you choose.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm learning Python because it is more relatable to finance and numbers and math.
Okay.
So I want to use that specific language to try and create a bot or a trading bot in order to trade stocks for me without me having to do anything.
Okay, so that old adage of make your money work for you.
Literally you can make money while you sleep or whatever. Don't even have to think about it.
I think a lot of people try to strive for that, because I think if you get to a point where you can have that happen for you and maintain that type of thing, then I think, I had this conversation with a younger guy at work the other day. We talked about how people say money can't buy you happiness, and I think that's absurd, honestly. I may have talked about it on this podcast before, but and I can't remember. I apologize if I'm rehashing this, but I think that if you're poor and miserable, you can be rich and still be miserable if you're that same person.
Sure.
I think money is part of... It's kind of just like how it's an attribute toward your personality. It's going to make you, if you're a happy person generally, and you have a ton of money, it's just going to make you more happy.
Sure.
And if you are a miserable person and you get more money, you're still going to be miserable. I genuinely believe that, right?
Yeah.
So when people say, money can't buy you happiness, it's that old country song, by Chris Jansen. They say money can't buy you happiness, but guess what? It can buy me a boat.
Yeah.
It can buy me a truck to pull it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the thing is like, if that's what your happiness is and money gets you that, then you're going to be happy.
Yeah.
I think people just kind of fall into the preconceived notions of, well, if you have $1 million and you buy a boat and you buy a truck to pull that boat, all you're going to want to do is keep buying bigger, better, badder boats and trucks.
I think that's a personality issue.
And that's what I mean, right? That's kind of what I'm getting at, is that, that can happen if you're that type of person. Or if you're the type of person that money can make you happy, you can be like, well, I did buy my boat and I bought the exact boat I wanted.
Yeah.
And I did buy my truck and it was the exact truck I wanted. And now I don't need to spend money on those things anymore. I can move on from that. I got those goals based on the money I have. And now I want to spend all this the other million left over. Or probably at this point, it'd be like
900.
No. If you got what I want.
What kind of truck and boat you want, man?
They can both easily be at least $100K a piece. Okay,
fair enough. We can settle on 800.
Let's settle on 800. For that 800,000 left over, that's probably going to go towards a facility I want to live at, right? A home. You know what I mean? Anyway, my point is that money is only, I think, going to attribute towards your personality. If you're a miserable person, you're a miserable person. Money's not going to fix it. And if you're a happy person, you're a happy person, and money will only just make it better.
True. I think it's hard not to fall into that trap, though, of always wanting more. Right? You always want to keep growing.
It can, right? But I mean, I think people that have genuinely addictive personalities in general, those are typically people that are susceptible to that, right?
Tell me about it.
For sure. And I can be in certain things, I definitely can be. I can definitely be one of those people that's like, oh man, I finally got this. Now I can't wait to be able to get this. And you're constantly looking for that upgrade. And upgrade society as a whole has kind of just gotten out of control. I mean, think about iPhones. Think about video game consoles. Think about even movies in general, right? Everyone wants bigger, badder all the time. All the time. If nothing's been improved, then people don't want it. And it doesn't make money, and then people don't care about it.
Very true.
So everyone's always on that upgrade culture, and I'm susceptible of it. I'm not going to sit here and play holier than thou, sit on a pedestal and say I've never done that. Definitely have. But if you have a ton of money, you get to a point where you're like, I'm happy as hell.
Sure.
My family's taken care of for generations. my wife's happy, I'm happy, because we're not using money as the only reason that we have to live.
Mm-hmm.
We're using our money to aid in our living on how we want to live it.
Yeah. I think if you reach a certain point, especially in your finances, where you just don't wake up every day and worry about if that bill is going to get paid at the end of the month, just taking that stress off you every day, I truly think just makes you a more happy, relaxed person.
I agree.
And so I can't completely blame people that don't have that.
Oh no, yeah,
because that's stressful. We've been there.
Oh,
we've lived
sure.
paycheck to paycheck and had negative bank accounts, right?
Yep.
But
yep,
isn't it just nice to wake up nowadays and just, hey, everything's taken care of. Yeah. I could lose my job and be okay for a little while.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I agree. And there is a balancing act, right? And I think that's another part of it is that I'm not wealthy by any means, right? By any standards.
Sure.
But at the same time, it's like I won't let my finances also limit what I can do. So I have to figure out how my finances can be in order for me to be happy enough to be able to do what I want.
Yep.
Right. Now, I mean, obviously everybody, when they are not filthy wealthy,
yeah,
people, average Joes, have to sacrifice certain things to get certain places and get the things they want. It's just what it is.
Yeah.
You know, you'll always have shortcomings somewhere. And if you can really find out in your personal life what is not necessary, absolutely not necessary, and you're making it harder on yourself, if you figure out those excess things to trim off, you can generally be happy, because if it costs you, especially if it's costing you money, and you figure out how to get that cost out of your way,
yeah,
and you're like, oh, well, I can put that cost towards my bottom line and make sure all my bills are covered, and then I have actually more money to be able to play and put into things I love. There becomes a balancing act, and we talked about this earlier about how when you're a younger man, I think people get scared of that, right? They're scared of that stability because you're a young man and all you can focus on is experiencing everything you can while you can do it.
Yeah.
And I think if young guys and young people are out there and they're watching this, definitely figure out how to make yourself financially stable before you do anything, because I say that with very big grain of salt on that, because you also still have to do those things that give you life experience. You have to go out there with your buddies and take trips with your friends, and you go into the negatives in your bank account to make it happen. And because you'll never get it back, and you'll always remember those trips, and you're always going to have fun about it.
Oh, yeah.
You're gonna be like, man, I can't, you'll always reflect on it at some point. So you definitely want to have those life experiences. I don't think you should just hermit yourself off till you're like 35 and you got a couple $100,000 in your bank account.
Right.
I don't mean
but
that.
With no experiences in your young 20s to think back on and reminisce on, right?
That's kind of what I mean.
Yep.
But there's a balancing act. Again, there's a balancing act. And if you can figure out that balancing act and the things we talked about, if you can figure out how to get yourself, your hobbies in order, your career path in order, and your finances all in order, and you get that trinity met up, and you figure out how to make your money work for you, and you're doing what you love, and you don't have to worry about anything else but doing what you love and taking care of your family and being around the people you love. That is it. You've made it.
It's hard not to be happy.
You've made it.
Yep.
You have made it. Now some people have all those. Some people have one or two of those.
Yeah.
Some people only have one.
Mm-hmm. Some
people have none.
Sure.
And people at those various levels are at different personal happiness levels with themselves because of whatever reasons. It's specifically individualistic oriented, But I think in generalizing, I think if most people had those things in order, most people would be happy.
Yeah.
And they'd probably not give a care in the world about what other people think about them either.
Sure.
And they'd be like, hey, look, I believe what I believe. I like what I like. And I don't care what you think about me. I don't care that you can try and tell me that I need to believe what you want, all you want, but I don't care. It's not my thing.
Well, and if they had their stuff together, they wouldn't have time to worry about you anyway.
Right.
So.
That's the other thing.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing about it too, right? I think a lot of people, that's a good point to touch on that. I think if people are so miserable with themselves, all they can do is lash out at others for it, right? And they say, well, I don't have a Lamborghini. Why does he have a Lamborghini?
Right.
And this guy's like, I worked really hard for this Lamborghini.
Yeah.
I got to where I'm at because of what I've done in my life. And it's afforded me this opportunity to drive this very expensive vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
And people are like, well, why do you get it? I just told you. Well, I want a Lamborghini. Okay, well, then figure out how to get a Lamborghini.
Right.
I'm not going to carry your hand through this life and tell you how to do it. You got to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
I made the money. I bought the Lamborghini. It's mine.
Mm-hmm.
It's not yours. I'm sorry you want it to be yours and you're mad at me for owning it.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? I don't care. I don't have time for you.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. A lot of people can't be happy for others because of that reason too. And it's kind of sad. That's the way the world's going these days.
It does suck, dude. It does suck. And that's a big part of it too, is that you brought up a really good point about if people have those things in line and they are as happy, they're genuinely happy, they typically do not care about what other people think about them and or they're doing what they think is best for them in their future regarding everything around them, family, money, goals, hobbies. So bringing it back to, if people found that, they would probably leave each other alone more often. Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, but that's the thing too. There's excuses and then there's going out and just doing it. Right. Yeah. I mean, we've both had hard times and we never got any help to get out of it. Right. We decided that we were going to go get good jobs, go get educated, go work hard for what we got. And it took time. It didn't happen overnight. We had to work at it and we had to make decisions in our lives that got us to that point. Right. Yeah. It didn't just happen. It wasn't just given to us. It's not this white privilege stuff that keeps getting pushed out. Right. I don't think that's it, because if that were the case, then I would probably never gotten a job and I would have still been in the same spot. Right.
Yeah.
If that were such a thing, because it would have just been handed to me. Right.
It's true. I mean, and that's what I mean. That's what I was kind of alluding to earlier about people getting mad at somebody owning a Lamborghini. Right. They're inherently and genuinely pissed with no reason to be pissed. Right. They just think that they have to be, right? People just think, I have to be pissed because this guy owns a Lamborghini and I don't. Why? Yeah. And you're like, dude, just figure out how to get a Lamborghini. Right. Instead of worrying about what he's doing with his Lamborghini, if you want one, figure out how to get it. Right. But guess what? If you break the law to figure out how to get it, you're going to jail because you're a criminal. It is what it is. You have to figure out how to get the Lamborghini. If your goal is owning one of those, figure it out. Mm-hmm. Figure it out. It may take you till you're 80 years old. And if that's still the goal you have at that point and you want to buy a Lamborghini, boom, guess what? You set out a big goal and you made it happen at that late stage in your life. But that's something that's something to be proud of, right? I think that's a lot of things that people lack, is just that self-pride and taking ownership of being like, I have this goal, or I have this milestone I need to reach. I don't think people can focus long enough to get those, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's always ever changing. It's always shifting. It's always saying, I want this, and then next week it's that. Yeah.
Or they give up the first time they fail, and that's the hard part too. Instead of learning a lesson and moving on and getting better, they just
they'll take that loss quit. They'll take that loss and move on. Mm-hmm. Right. And that's a good point. That's a very good point to touch on. But I think if people were to most people that I've seen that are the happiest people I've ever met in my life are typically people that are goal oriented and continuously reach their goals. Yes. 100%. Regardless of what those goals are. Mm-hmm. Those are typically the people that are the happiest, and are almost always the people that I emulate or want to be like, right? Mm-hmm. These people that have these goals and say, you know what, I like a lot of things, but I can only do this because I have this thing in mind. I need to reach this goal. And sometimes they won't tell you. Sometimes they don't want to tell you, and they don't have to, right? They're just like, this is my goal. And whether they're private or public about it, it doesn't matter. But people reach that goal, and they reach that little bit of inner happiness that they get out of it, whether it's, I want to make $1 million. If it requires me to stay in my house for every day for the next 10 years and not go out and spend money to go out and eat and hang out with my friends, and you get there, well, guess what? I made my $1 million. Hey guys, you want to go out for beer now? It's been 10 years, but You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
But typically those people that have those goals, regardless of what they are, they've always seemed to be the happiest people that I've ever been around and met. Goal-oriented people. Folks, if you're out there listening to this, if you don't have goal-oriented people in your life, you need to find them because they will help you. They will build you up, whether they directly do it or whether you just look at them as an example. Definitely put yourself around those type of people, and your life will typically improve, I think. I think that's for real, genuine life advice.
You never want to be the smartest person in the room.
Now, explain to me what that saying means to you.
You surround yourself with people that are better than you, and that will make you better. If you're the smartest person in the room and you're the best person in the room, you're doing yourself a disservice. And those other people that are not as good or goal-oriented or have the same process as you or same goals as you are only going to bring you down instead of building you up, which is exactly what you said, just in a different way.
Yeah, no, that makes sense too, right? That's a good take. That's a good perspective on it for sure. That goes along with always continuously striving for self-improvement, right? Always strive for self-improvement and say, hey, you know what? I didn't reach my goal in the time frame I want to reach it. I'm going to reset.
Yeah.
I'm going to reset this goal for this new time frame that I think is going to be more attainable to get. And that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that goal. New time frame, new goal, starting over now. If you don't make it, or if you make it short, guess what? Then you get to pat yourself on the back and be like, dang, I made it faster than I thought I did. Sweet. Yeah. Now, don't set the bar so low for yourself that like you just always continuously make your goals before the deadlines, right? Meaning like, oh yeah, I've been in school for 9 years, like Tommy Boy. When David Spade goes, he goes, or how's it go? Chris Farley goes, yeah, I finally got my degree after like 8 years. And David Spade goes, yeah, a lot of people go to school for 8 years. They're called doctors.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, man.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You get the point.
I think Elon Musk said it best, really, because he said, figure out how to do your, I could mess this up, how to do your 10-year goal in 2 years. And even if you fail, you're significantly further than someone that just set out to do their 10-year goal in 10 years.
Yeah. I do remember hearing something about that too. One of his other favorite tweets that I love is also that, I'm probably going to get in trouble for this one, but he says, I love how people confuse bachelor's degrees for intelligence. He goes, I know tons of people that have bachelor's degrees and they're still fucking idiots.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's so true, though, right? I mean, just because you have a degree doesn't make you a smart person. How many millionaires are there that never went to college?
Oh, man, tons.
Tons.
Right? A lot of the famous, all the greats, really. All the greats. But that's a big can of worms to tackle.
Yeah, fair enough.
That is a big can of worms. That is a big can of worms to tackle.
We had to come back a third time. I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be a 4-part episode. But and I'm not advocating against going to college at all. I think there's a place for it. There
absolutely is. Just don't go for a liberal arts degree.
There's a necessity for it, for sure. Oh, pardon me. There's a necessity for it for sure, but a lot of it I think is very gimmicky.
Yeah, right. I mean,
that's it.
It's all for profit.
Yeah, big time. It is big time university stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, on a different subject, going back to what we talked about a little earlier, like your hobbies, right? So tell me a little bit about the hobbies you have and how it's kind of progressed you as a person, total, right? I know you've told me before you've done some handyman work around your house and stuff but is that your hobby or is that just something that you just put your mind to do as a goal? What's your hobby? What do you love to do?
Gosh, I think hobbies and goals go hand in hand, but yeah, my handyman stuff is just another side passion of mine, right? I love working with my hands, and I just love that feeling you get when you complete something and you can look at it and go, that's cool. And I also made that from scratch, right? Yeah. I mean, there's just something about that for me personally that I just get like really fulfilled by it. And so I'm always chasing the next thing that I can go do. I love doing projects around the house, and maybe I'm just one of the few, but I'm always looking for some honey-do list to come out that I'm like, oh, you need that?
I'll smash that.
I'll freaking go after it. Yeah, you need me to build something? My wife will be like, I really want to buy a new table. I'm like, oh, you do? Oh, I'll build you a table. Like, let's go. I'm ready. So, a lot of people will avoid that stuff and then we'll just buy it. Totally understand because it's probably cheaper and a lot less effort, but I just like doing it.
Yeah.
It's fun.
I definitely understand. I understand that for a couple of different reasons, but I think a lot of that is just kind of genetically predispositioned in men. I mean, mankind as a whole that says, I want to produce, I want to make things, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
I think every man inside themselves always has that need and that fulfillment in themselves to want to produce and make and build on, right? I think everyone has that. And it can be several outlets of things, right? Whether it's like, I want to figure out how to build a table, and then you kind of start making that your passion or your hobby, or like, I like to be able to show product of my work.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's one of the most satisfying for most people because you see a visual representation of what you've done, right? You see, I made that table. Mm-hmm. It's mine. No one did that. I did.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people love that self-fulfillment feeling. You know what I mean? And it's not exclusive to men, obviously. There's plenty of women that have done great things with that type of same mentality, but people love that. People love saying, yeah, I did that. That's mine.
Oh, for sure.
No one helped me, or, I coordinated a whole team to get this thing done.
Yeah.
And that type of want of fulfillment and or continuously trying to find more things to build is a good way of progressivism, right?
Sure.
Where like you're like, I want to continue to strive and improve. Continue to strive and improve.
Yeah.
Now, what I mean by that is like you can break it down to a small scale and say, that table I built was pretty cool, but I figured out that if I can figure out how to like just put a sliding drawer into it that's hidden, that'd make it way cooler.
Totally true.
That'd make it way cooler, right? So you're like, oh, I figured out how to make a secret drawer in this table. And look how cool it is now. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's kind of how innovation starts, and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, you can't get better at something if you never started the first time and failed and relearned how to do it right better the first time or second time or third time, whatever.
Yeah.
So you're absolutely correct. And I think that's awesome to keep moving and learning.
And going back to like the Elon Musk thing as far as, set out a goal for yourself because if you fail it, you're still further ahead than somebody else that never set a goal for themselves ever.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's really good advice.
And there's tons of times I've done something myself because the egotistical nature in me goes, I can do better than what Amazon's selling, right? Or whatever. Yeah. And you know what I mean?
IKEA.
And whether that's true or not, fine. But at least, okay, I did it. And whether I have to redo it or not, I still feel like that's awesome that I learned something from screwing it up the first time.
Yeah.
That it was all worth it. I don't care if I have to redo it. It's worth it.
And that kind of goes back a little bit earlier. We were talking about where, if you have a failure, if you figure out how to use that failure as a learning opportunity, you're going to have some self-improvement down the line, right?
Yeah.
So once again, you build that table and you're like, damn, my wife needs a table to store the napkins in. Mm-hmm. And now she's kind of pissed that I didn't make that. And you're like, oh, but I figured out how to make a table with a napkin drawer. Hey, honey, look, here's a napkin drawer. And she's like, well, where's the silverware drawer? No, I'm just kidding. No, but
should have asked for that.
Yeah, you know what I mean, though.
Yeah.
Like, when you take a failure or a shortcoming from something that you've made, as long as you can improve on that, you're always going to learn a lesson from it. You're going to strive towards enlightenment and or like self-fulfillment, and you'll get there, right?
Yeah.
You'll get there.
So I think it's always just good to push yourself no matter what.
I agree.
I never, no one really ever taught me how to pick up a tool or do anything when I was a kid that way. My dad wasn't that way. So, a lot of that was never really seen in my childhood for the most part, right? Until, most of my stepdad did a lot of that stuff coming in. So I think I took after him for the most part.
Yeah.
But still never really sat down and took time to learn it the way I probably should have.
Yeah.
But coming back into it now, I definitely, one, wish I would have, and two, just that fulfillment you just can't beat. And I'll always, from now on, always just try and continue to push myself and learn more and more and just become better at it.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, finishing my basement for the first time, I messed a lot of things up, had to redo a lot of things. It took me a lot of time. Right. And a lot of effort and, tearing things apart and putting them back together and watching a lot of YouTube on, certain techniques.
Oh yeah.
But still not perfect by any means. Professional, absolutely could have done a lot better. That had 20 years experience.
Yeah.
Also would have cost me twice as much. But that lesson I learned from doing it and the enjoyment I got out of seeing my completed project is way more than 10 grand to me would have been.
Yeah. And that, like I said, being able to look at what you've done and say, hey, no one can take this away from me because I did it.
Yeah.
This is mine.
Yeah.
That's one of the best feelings in the world.
100%.
And I don't think people experience that enough as a whole. And I think everyone should. I think everyone should experience that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If everyone can experience that at some point in their life, it doesn't have to be in physical labor, but if everyone can experience that where they've created something that no one can take away from them and they have some sort of fulfillment in them from that, it makes you a better person.
Yep.
It makes you a better person. And whether you're happy and people think you're not happy or not, that's not up to them.
Doesn't matter to me either.
Yeah. It's not up to them. It's up to you.
Yep.
If you're happy, you're a happy person because you've created X, Y, Z. And
but it's a buy, throw away, rebuy society now. And
there's a lot of that. Yeah.
And that's part of it too. Whereas I'm pretty cheap for the most part and I will try and fix something. And if I break it while I'm fixing it, okay, cool. Then it's my fault. And now I'll rebuy it. But at least I tried to fix it.
Yeah. It is. That's another big can of worms of.
Sorry, I'm opening a lot of them today,
it's
buddy.
Fine. It's not a big deal. We can, it could be a 5-part series here. I know it was 4 earlier, but now we're making it 5. But, it is. That's a big part of culture is just buy, throw away, buy.
Mm-hmm.
Reusable or, replaceable. Yep. Replaceable for sure. But on a lighthearted note, tell me about your hobby of snowboarding, right? Because you got some ink.
Oh, yeah.
And I know you got some mountains on there. And you and I have gone snowboarding a couple dozen times or however many. Tell me how you kind of got into that. And what makes you so passionate about that as kind of a passion and or hobby? Passion and or hobby, sorry.
It's not that. I think I definitely know why I got into it. And it was because growing up, I was told I couldn't do it. Like my mom wouldn't let me do it. She said it was dangerous. She didn't want to take me up there. My friends didn't really do it at the time. I didn't have anyone to go with, and she didn't want to afford the equipment. Right, it's expensive. Right. There's just a lot of reasons, a lot of excuses, a lot of no's, and it was something. Like I always watched it on TV, right? We were in Colorado and the Olympics and all this stuff, right? And it just looked so dang cool. And I just wanted to do it so bad. And, I was like 113 pounds my freshman year of high school. I was a tiny guy. My mom kept telling me, no, you're going to get hurt. You can't do this. You can't do that. And everyone kept telling me this, because I was so small, which is fine. In retrospect, she's probably not wrong. You probably would have gotten hurt. And I did, because literally the first time I went out, it broke my collarbone.
But let me pause you. Was it worth it?
Heck yeah, because I kept doing it and I kept going back. So hell yeah, it was worth it. Good. Right? Fell in love with it. Didn't care, right?
Yeah.
I'll get hurt and I'll get back up and do it again. I don't give a shit. But yeah, really, that's how I got into it. It was just people telling me no. And I hate that as a person. Someone telling me I can't do something and I will do everything in my power to prove them wrong.
So by nature, you're just one of those people that's like, you will, if anybody says don't do something, you're like, that's my cue. This is my cue to do exactly what you tell me not to do.
Yes. It's got me in a lot of trouble in life too, but here we are. So.
I think I got a little bit of that myself. Mm-hmm. I don't think I do have as much as you. As well as I know you, I don't think I have it as much. But I do have that in me too. Yeah. And that's a good trait to have, because it does get you to be able to be passionate about something, right?
Sure.
It turned and it evolved into a hobby and or passion that you've come to love. And we've been snowboarding together for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And the progression that I think both of us went through in that hobby, I think was very cool, man.
Yeah.
I think it was very cool. And then there was that one winter where you and I shared a pass together.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that winter, we both improved in our snowboarding game so much. Like that was when it really pushed us to that higher level at one point, right? We were kind of, obviously my peak, because you kept doing it way longer than I did. But that was my peak, right? Where that was my best skill level.
Mm-hmm.
Not only was it my best skill level because I was going so much, but my age, obviously.
Yeah.
As much as you can.
Yeah, I think now with, my jacked up old man knees and kids, I definitely don't go as often as I want to, but Roxy's really into it. So I think once the kids are easier to be babysat, is the right way to say it, then we'll go more. But
when you have the ability to go with some free time without some young kids around,
Yeah, I mean, that's just really where we're at now. We're taking a pause because of them, and I think that's just trying to be a responsible parent.
Being a parent that cares for their kids.
But man, I cannot wait to try and, when they're old enough to get taught how to do it. Oh man, we're going to take them up all the time.
That's another thing about being a parent, right? Is that you're like, I can't wait to show my kid this.
Yes, my kid's going to be badass, dude.
Now the heartbreak comes when you show your kid that and they're like, whatever it is.
Kick him down the mountain.
Whatever it is, it could be anything, but that's kind of one of my fears, honestly.
Yeah,
is like,
fair.
Something I'm passionate about that I think my daughter's going to love. I'd be like, hey, look at this. And I'd be like, that's dumb.
That's a good point. I haven't even come to that realization that's even a possibility in my life yet, but now I'm sad.
Sorry.
Dang it.
Sorry, you a little bit of a pessimistic look on things. My bad, dude. But you know what was a big component of why I wanted to be a snowboarder at all? And this is, a lot of people aren't even going to know this, even our age. And I hope you do know this, but a big influence of me wanting to snowboard was the movie by Disney called Johnny Tsunami.
Oh, yes. I remember that. Such a good one. Started as a skateboarder, went snowboarding.
No, he was a surfer. He was a surfer from Hawaii.
Was it?
Yeah. So he was a surfer from Hawaii. He moved to Colorado, I believe.
I'm thinking of Brink or something like that. The roller skater kid.
That was
I'm sorry. But yeah, you're right. Johnny Tsunami.
Yes. That was a funny movie too. I love that movie. As a kid. Talk about the Disney classics.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
No, but Johnny Tsunami, he was a kid from Hawaii. I think he moved to Colorado, I'm pretty sure. And he moved to a really wealthy town where they had like private charter schools that had ski teams. And he saw kids on public ski lifts that were snowboarding, right? And he's like, "What's that?" And all the normal kids are like, "Oh, that's snowboarding." And he's like, "Oh, I want to snowboard." And he goes back to his private school and he tries to snowboard. And all the kids at school that he goes to with and the community he lives in, they're like, "You can't snowboard. We only do skiing around here." So he gave him that rebel, like, no, you can't snowboard. So he's like, "I'm going to snowboard. Like, I'm going to do it." And so like, I saw that and I go, I want to be Johnny Tsunami. I'm Hawaiian now.
Heck yeah.
I'm Hawaiian. I learned how to surf and now I'm going to snowboard.
Oh yeah. If I look at surfing and I'm like, I don't want anything to do with that.
Yeah, same. I love the ocean, dude, but surfing is not anything I want to have any part of.
Yeah.
I'm a snorkeler though.
Oh yeah, snorkeling's cool. Still not the
snorkeling.
biggest fan of open water personally though.
Yeah. But I mean, it's just surfing in general, I have no interest in.
No, sounds like way too much work.
I respect people that do it. I don't hate on it.
Cool.
I don't not like it. It's just, I would never do it.
Yeah, I'll watch you work hard at it, but I don't want to do it.
I'll sit on the beach and drink my Montucky cold snacks while you go out there and surf.
There you go, man.
Have fun. Because I'm having fun.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Surfing the cold snack ride over there.
Yeah, dude. But no, a big part of that too is also my brother, right? Because my brother grew up in that age of like when skateboarding got big and that translated, snowboarding was exploding at that point. I mean, this had to have been what, 2000, 2001?
Oh, we're so old.
I know. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
But that's when snowboarding started breaking in, right? And getting really big. And especially appealing to youth kids because it was dangerous, right? It was dangerous. It was fast paced and there's adrenaline involved in it. So you're targeting kids that are like 15 to, 20 years old. And my brother was in that kind of demographic when it was coming out big time, right? And I have a big age gap between my brother, but I always wanted to be like him and do things he did.
Sure.
So
natural.
when he likes snowboarding, I like snowboarding. So you pile that on top of my love for Johnny Tsunami. It's a cyclone of disaster for me wanting to go do dumb, crazy things that are dangerous as far as that sport's concerned. And my parents, thank God, actually let me do it. I can't believe they did. And I thank them for it every day. Mama, Dada, I love you for that. I can't believe they let me do it. And I hurt myself a lot too. You know, I thank God never anything terrible, but I hurt myself a lot too. I hurt my brother one time, and I won't go into that because it was pretty bad, and he got really mad, and I got whooped for it. But
all I can picture is, I don't know if you can cut this out, but holy crap, dude. That one freaking time we went up there, I think it was like me, you, like Colton. I don't know. It was like 4 of us. I think we all went up. And I remember we were like hitting that roller. And if this is the hill and this is you, boop, face forward, right into a pile. And all you can see is your stupid legs up in the air and you just face front, just covered in snow. Do you remember this? Do you remember this accident?
I don't.
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. It's
don't.
The one thing I totally remember about going snowboarding with you is that one freaking time that you just went, you got air, and then you just leaned too much forward, and you just went head first into a pile of snow. It was amazing. And you just laughed it off, and then got back up and kept riding.
Well, that was the thing, too, about it, right? Was when we were that young, you could do that. You could literally fall hard and just be like, boop.
That's true.
And keep going.
Yeah.
If I did that right now, I feel I'd just lay there and be like, take me down to the beer tent. God. You know what I mean? That was a fantastic part about it.
Yeah.
Man.
I think it's actually one of the first times we ever went snowboarding together, though. And I was like, Jake, you're freaking fearless, man. You didn't care because I'd been snowboarding for a while before then. Before I think that me and you had actually gone together. And you were just keeping up and you didn't care. You just kept falling, getting right back up, falling, getting right back up, and still just going fast. Bombing it, falling, bombing it, falling. It's like, man, I respect the crap out of that because that is awesome, man, because that does not feel good.
Yeah.
And you were just going for it.
I appreciate you respecting my pain because through all that pain, I learned very well how to stay on my feet.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm serious. And going back a little bit to how I hurt my brother was kind of that same way. Was that I was going really fast, didn't see him hit him, and that was it.
Yeah.
But I did that for several years, several seasons of snowboarding. That's how I learned how to do it. My parents couldn't afford to put me in lessons. I didn't have anybody that was good that could mentor me through it and teach me how to do it. I learned on my own.
Yeah.
Going on my own, or let my parents being able to take me and let me loose because they skied, right?
Yeah.
And they didn't know anything about snowboarding, especially at that time when it was coming out.
Yeah.
And I was new to it. I had to do it on my own. I had to. No one was there to take me through it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so trial and error.
Yeah.
There I go. And you know, like I said, reflecting back to that one winter where we bought the passes together and we went like every weekend, it felt like.
Yeah.
Almost every weekend, I felt like we went up there. But by the end of that season, man, you and I were shredding it.
Heck yeah.
Like, killing it. And it was fun. That was like peak enjoyment of snowboarding for sure for me. Yours might be different because you continued a lot longer than I did, but that was the funnest. That was the funnest I had. That was the most enjoyment I got out of it. I still have all my snowboarding gear. I've gone a couple times since then, obviously, but I don't go nearly as much. And I just love, I just wanted to bring it back to the tattoo that I mentioned earlier is because the tattoo that you have is sweet. And it reminds me of just being on the mountain.
Yeah, yeah.
And then when we got older and we were old enough to partake in a little bit of adult activities on the mountain, that was fun too, you know. Do you remember that one year we went to St. Patrick's Day?
St. Patty's Day. Yep. Oh, yeah.
Had green beer at, what was it, like 18,000 feet or something?
Something like that. My stupid Red Olives cape and my stupid Fruity Loop hat.
Yeah.
And then being dragged down the mountain on my stomach the last little bit because I didn't want to snowboard anymore.
Yeah, obviously it wasn't 18,000 feet, but we had to have been at like, what, 12,000, 11,000?
Whatever the summit was. I don't freaking know.
Having green beer at 11,000 feet is a good life experience, people.
Yeah. Also, if you just don't want to make it down without being drunk, for sure. Because at that altitude, it hits you pretty hard.
It was fun, though, man. I mean, that's a good time. That was one of the experiences that, you know, makes me love that.
Yeah.
That hobby for me. It's a hobby for me. It's not a passion. You know, I'm not passionate about that, but I have a good time doing it.
Yeah.
Damn good time doing it.
Sure.
So But yeah, going back to ink, dude, I want to get more.
Do you?
Oh yeah.
Are you gonna do both arms all the way or what?
I will eventually. Do both arms, but now, so I have a lot of tattoos on me from when I was a younger man.
Yeah. You regret any of them?
I don't regret any of them.
Okay.
I just wish that I had really thought about it and went to someone that I really trusted. Right?
Yeah, sure.
Because of all the tattoos I have on my body, I love all of them.
Yeah.
I just don't think they were executed to the vision that I thought that I wanted. And so when I got them completed, they didn't satisfy me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They did not satisfy what my goal was to see on my body.
Yeah.
So I want more because I want to find that tattoo artist that can do that and fix it and say,
hard.
Hey, fix me, baby.
Yeah.
You know, I had a lot of tattoos when I was a younger guy. Help me get some on here that really look good, really mean what I want them to mean, and that I can be proud of and say, yeah, I got this one when I was younger, but
yeah,
I finally found someone that could take care of me, and I got this good, solid piece.
Gosh, it's such a hard thing to find, though.
I know. It's very hard. And
have you ever watched like the tattoo artist competition on Netflix or something like that?
Ink Master?
Ink Master. That's the one I was thinking of.
I've seen a couple episodes. I mean, I haven't really
But really,
watched
you got to think some of those are the top echelon of tattoo artists. Yeah. And you look at some of their tattoos and you're like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
So it's obviously not an easy thing. You can't just go to some random tattoo artist and expect this perfect, amazing tattoo. And if you can, that dude is booked up for a year.
Not only that, but you're going to be paying out your ass for it.
Exactly. That's the other thing, too. So as a young guy where you're just like, I want tattoos, but I don't want to pay a ton of money for them. You're going to go to the middle ground guy.
You can have a mediocre guy that's like, oh, I can give you what you want. And it's going to be like the great value version of it. But I mean,
well, great value is like the cheapest one. Let's go Kirkland signature here.
Okay.
All right. Let's go little quality.
All right. I love Kirkland. I think
we all do.
Yeah.
We're all Costco supporters here.
I do love Costco.
Oh, God.
But no, I mean, I want to find that. And there's a tattoos nowadays have kind of seemed to have been more of accepting, right? A lot of jobs, a lot of the general populace don't really care much about it, right? As long as it's not obscene, people genuinely are like, they don't care.
Dang, man, you mean I can't do 6'9"?
I mean, you can't
on my face anymore and get a job.
You might become a famous rapper.
That's true. I might. I should also color my hair into rainbows.
You should try it. See what happens. You might become famous.
I'm not sure I'm willing to risk that. I'm not a good singer.
I don't think he is either.
Yeah, good point. All right,
do it.
Worth the shot. Yeah, I mean,
no, but I mean, like tattoos and piercings. Obviously, I think in good taste, no one really cares. And to be frank with you, back in the day, even I think if everything was in good taste, and that's a very broad gray term, that people didn't care, right? But you have people that get obscene crap on themselves that kind of make people put the stigma behind it.
There's a negative connotation back then too with gang violence, and also
it's super religious.
Being on your body forever is also one of those things that I think just had a negative connotation to it. But I think nowadays everyone's like, life's too short. Yeah. Do what you like. Also come to work.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, well, I mean, the fact that tattoos became a trend for people to have in general, right? Mm-hmm. I think employers started realizing, well, fuck, who do? I mean, we have to start hiring people, and it doesn't matter what they have on their skin as far as as long as it's not obscene, right? Yeah. As long as like not gang affiliated, not any kind of like satanic or religious worship, right?
Sure.
Even I mean, you can definitely go with the flip side of that for people that may be uncomfortable about it, right? Yeah. And as long as it's not like terrible to look at, and people don't like lock on it and be like, oh my God. Mm-hmm. I think most employers are like, we don't care what you have on you.
Right.
I mean, there's obviously some kind of parameters that have to be there.
Sure.
There has to be, right? And the same thing goes with like your general personal appeal.
Yes.
You have to be approachable.
Yeah. Nobody wants to look at your 69 on your face and talk to you and take you seriously as a person, right?
Right.
So there has to be a limitation. I get that.
It's true.
Yeah.
And the messed up thing is that even allowing rappers to get famous for having face tattoos, I mean,
shitty face tattoos.
It's just like, dude, who is giving these people the time of day to make them famous, right?
It's amazing.
And you know what?
Truly amazing.
You know what? There's the exception to the rule, right? And I think people like Post Malone can be that exception, right? Because guess what? Though he has face tattoos and he looks kind of like an idiot in my eyes, he's got talent.
You know, he started as a country singer.
I thought he was like a punk rock singer.
No, country.
Really?
Killer country singer.
No kidding.
I was actually extremely surprised and impressed.
Really?
You should look it up after this.
I will.
I
definitely will.
It's probably Post Malone. I don't know. What's his real name?
I don't know.
Either way,
His
I
real
think
name's
you
Post
can
Malone,
even
damn it.
Right. I actually think you could Google Post Malone country song, and he's done a cover recently, but he started out as a country singer before someone was like, "You want to come do rap?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even think he's considered rap, dude. Honestly,
What do you call it?
he's like his own thing.
Yeah.
But like
His own genre?
and that's kind of what I mean. He's the exception, right? He has absolute talent. He's got musical talent. He's got knowledge of like how to be famous and how to make music that people gravitate to. Right? He's the exception to the rule. But at the same time, if I ever had the ability to meet Post Malone, I'd be like, dude, nice to meet you. I love your work. But why the hell did you do that?
Respect your work. Don't love most of it, but
Why did you do that to your face?
yeah.
And if he says, because I wanted to, all right, cool. All right, that is what it is.
Yeah.
He's an individual. He's a person. He can make up his own mind. And if he's okay with that, he's okay with that. I think the point I'm trying to get at here is that when people try to play the victim card with tattoos, I don't like that. Because if you have ridiculous tattoos, you have ridiculous tattoos.
Sure.
It just is what it is. And I'm not saying I don't have any ridiculous tattoos, but the thing is, if people say that to me, I have to own that. Or I have to take some kind of self-responsibility and say,
Sure.
Yeah, you know what? This didn't turn out how I wanted to. Honestly, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And someday I'll get it fixed. But then people get the same thing and be like, why did you get the lipstick mouth print on your neck? And they're like, oh, dude, I was engaged one time, so I got that for my girl. And you're like, that's a dumb tattoo. Why the hell would you do that? And now going back to what you said, like with like 6ix9ine, and you're like, I take you less seriously as a person.
Yeah.
You've lost credibility. I don't care what you think. I don't hold you to a standard, which means that your opinion doesn't matter.
Right.
So like, there's the exceptions. Right?
Yes.
People have absurd things on them. Great people with great talent have absurd things on them.
Sure.
They do. But generalizing,
Yes.
the general populace, that's not the case.
Right. Yeah, I think that's all we're trying to get at here,
Yes.
right? I'm not saying every person with a face tattoo is a bad person. I'm just.
But the thing is, people will pin you on it. They'll be
They do.
They'll be like, oh, you don't like face tattoos? Well, look at Post Malone's record album sales, dude.
Right.
And you're like, yeah, I know he's talented.
Cool.
I get
He's
that.
richer than me and everything.
Yes.
Awesome. Good for him. Happy for him. Just, I don't think I would hire him to be a doctor. I don't know. Like, I'm just not sure that if he had a doctorate degree, I would be comfortable going to him. I don't know.
Yeah.
Am I a terrible person for saying that?
I don't think so.
I don't know. It's just like there's certain jobs where you just expect that person to be professional as you view what is professionalism. So I guess that's your own views too.
That's true. You know, I mean, but being professional is, I mean, you can have a person that has not a drop of ink on their body and still not be professional, you know?
Yeah, well, exactly too. But imagine if the roles were reversed and 6ix9ine's lawyer was the one in trouble and 6ix9ine was his lawyer. How that would go.
That's a good point.
I mean, I don't know.
Damn good point. Yeah.
So you got to look at it both ways.
No, for sure. I agree. That's a good point. If 6ix9ine appeared to me as a lawyer, and the person he was representing was accused of the crimes that he himself had committed, like recently.
Yeah.
I'd be like, you got to fire your lawyer, dude. You got to get a new lawyer.
It's either that or he really knows how to get away with it.
He's making a mockery of my court. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, for sure. We're terrible.
Court session over.
Oh, man. Crazy world we live in.
It is crazy. So I heard you bought a new Bronco.
Yes. Bronco Sport.
Bronco Sport.
Yes, let's be correct.
Okay. So tell me about it. What's the difference between the Bronco Sport and whatever the version they have? Because I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, there are two different versions.
New Broncos.
Yeah. So Ford came out with the Broncos, right? They got, I don't even know what they're calling the big Bronco. People are just saying, oh, there's a baby Bronco and a big Bronco, which I bought the baby Bronco because it's half the price.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's like the most expensive version of the big Bronco is coming out is like $80,000.
Ooh.
It's silly.
Well, I mean, if you think about an F-250, it's about that price.
Sure. I just wasn't going to pay that because honestly, it's so my Bronco, right? The Bronco Sport is built on the Ford Escape chassis.
Okay.
So it's a crossover.
Yeah.
It's
like
not
mid-size SUV.
Yeah. It's just a little SUV, nothing crazy, but you still get all your creature comforts and stuff like that, which is really what I wanted. Cause my Subaru I had before that. Subaru, I will say I liked it for the Sport. But man, Subaru is super far behind the ball on all creature comforts when it comes to the vehicles.
Imagine that, a Coloradan driving a Subaru.
Good one, yeah. Well, I also vaped and wore Birkenstocks too. Yeah, say all the things.
Oh, God. Don't say it so.
Yes, well, I'm always been a fast car, fast bike guy. So,
yeah.
I'm finally getting out of that mode and, bought the Harley, bought the crossover SUV. I'm family man now, right? I'm about to trade in these Nikes for some New Balance whites and go grill out in my backyard and talk about grass. So, I feel like that's the logical next step.
That right there is genuine Kentucky bluegrass. All right. Now, if you think that I didn't put on Miracle Grow, you're out of your damn mind.
Yeah, just the logical next step in life, I assume, right?
Talking about being old.
Gosh, yeah. I think I'm just accepting it very slowly.
I know. It's you fight the battle and you're like, I'm not old. I feel really young. And you're like, dude, did I just buy Air Monarchs? What the hell is happening?
Right? And when my wife was pregnant, right, I said, oh, I'm going to keep the Subaru. I'm going to keep it forever. We'll take the truck everywhere we need to go. But then you realize it's not really that feasible to have one car as a family, right? Because if she takes the truck somewhere, well, now I don't have a way to take the kids anywhere if I need to, right? Yeah. So then you think, okay, well, we both need a vehicle that we can take the kids in if we had to.
No, let me ask you, do you like it? Do you like your Bronco?
Love it.
Yeah.
Oh my, it's so comfortable.
Nice.
There's so many things to it that I didn't know I ever needed, but now that I have them, I don't think I could ever go back.
Right.
Yeah. That thing can drive itself.
Oh, is that like the lane assist to keep?
Oh, yeah.
And cruise control adaptation?
It's adaptive cruise control. Yeah. So it'll brake, it'll freaking center you in the lane, all that stuff.
Does it beep at you if you take your hands off the steering wheel?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the bummer part of it, right? You got to figure out, use your Python to figure out how to deactivate that, dude.
Yeah, I mean, people are jailbreaking their Teslas. I think it's all doable. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Use the Python code to make sure that you don't have to have your hand on the steering wheel to autopilot your Ford.
Yeah, it's crazy. But still, right? Like, I was going to Costco and I set that thing and, sitting there and I'm scared shitless, because I've never done this before. And I'm like, do I trust it? Yeah. Just foot hovering over the brake. I'm ready to go. White knuckling is probably more nerve wracking than if I just would have drove.
I know. I know exactly what you're talking about because I have the exact same thing. Yeah. I have the same thing in my vehicle. Yeah. Right? So the first time I felt it correct my lane assist, I was like, dude.
No, this is my wheel.
Yeah. Yeah. Turn that off. Turn this off.
Yeah. I haven't turned it back on since then. When I first bought it, I had to try it. But besides that,
you got it. You might as well.
Yeah. Got to try it. But, besides that, heated steering wheel, haven't had that. You know?
Is that not the best thing in the world?
Pretty legit.
Dude.
I didn't think I would ever use it. I'm like, that's stupid. But now I've used it like 3 times this week.
We live in Colorado. So,
Yeah.
I mean, especially in the wintertime, and you auto start your car.
Yeah.
And that heated steering wheel is on, and you get in, you climb in, your hands go to a nice warm steering wheel. Overlooked option.
Yes.
I will say that.
Very overlooked.
Because here's the thing. I had a vehicle before the one I have now that had it. And I felt like I was betrayed for never having it.
Right?
Because when I got
once
it,
you have it, you're like, oh, what?
When I finally got it, I was like, I've been lied to my whole life.
Yeah.
Why has this never been a thing until like, when did those first start coming out, you think? Probably like 2012?
You steering wheels? I don't know. I drove a Subaru that didn't even have Bluetooth. So what do you want from me? I didn't have anything coming into this.
Good thing it came with Birkenstocks, dude. But not Bluetooth.
Yeah, I'm coming into this whole world, blind right now, and it's shocking me.
Yeah, no, for sure, dude. So I want to ask you about it just because like I'm fascinated by the Bronco. So you like it, you bought it.
The most comfortable seats you'll ever sit in, by the way.
Really?
Yes.
How was the process now purchasing this, right? Because are they still like on back order? Like, is it still kind of So how'd you get one? Like, I mean, I feel like it's pretty early still, right? Or am I out of my mind?
No, pretty early. I walked into the dealership and I just walked up to, and the first salesman that talked to me, I said, hey, I know exactly what I want. And I had a printout from Ford of a build.
Did you build your own?
Yeah, of a build sheet. And I said, I want this. They said, sweet, sounds good. So he went to the desk and whatever he did, whatever he does. And he said, cool, it's ordered, right? It's on the way. It's just like 10 weeks.
Yeah.
Right. Cool. Sounds good. So, obviously sometimes things happen, blah, blah, blah. Right. So it was like 14 weeks after everything was said and done.
Well, I mean, we're still doing COVID stuff too. So I would imagine that had some kind of effect.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Although I feel like we're getting to the point though, where people are just saying that just for an excuse to be late on things.
Now you're opening the can of worms, buddy, because I could talk about that forever.
I know. Yeah, my bad.
Oh, I hate it.
My bad, but I just feel like they're like, oh man, we dropped the ball on that. COVID, dude.
Right. Yeah. Oh.
COVID was, we're really behind on everything. We're late because of that. Yeah. Sorry.
COVID will be an excuse for everyone that makes it convenient for them.
Yeah. All right.
Forever.
Yes.
But anyway, can of worms, part D.
Appendix 4.
Yes. Goodness gracious.
Okay, so what color did you get?
Carbonized gray is what it's called.
Okay. Is that a little bit darker of a shade than like that gunship gray or whatever they had? Like
yeah.
That
yeah.
Nice.
Yep. Just a darker version.
So it's like dark gray and black.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah. And then the seats are a light gray outline and then a dark gray center. Or did I say gray? Light brown outline and a dark brown center. The seats.
Oh,
leather.
Nice.
Yeah.
Fancy.
So it's like coffee espresso.
Right.
And it's got what do you got? Like velvet. I don't know if it's velvet or
like suede.
Suede. Yeah. Suede top with like the Bronco stitching on them and stuff. Yeah.
That sounds nice, dude.
Pretty sweet.
I'm
happy with it.
Yeah, I was going to say, are you happy with your purchase?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Nice.
I mean,
do you plan on doing any modifications to it, or are you just going to leave it?
Oh, I'm going to do shit to it. I can't help myself. But the problem is there's just nothing out there right now.
I was going to say, so if you've looked into it yet, is there any kind of like material out there for you to use for what modifications you want on it?
Nothing yet. And it's super frustrating because I know exactly what I want, but it's just no one makes it yet.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I want to do a 2-inch lift, right? I want bigger tires. Yeah. I want running boards. I want a brush guard, and I want a roof rack. None of which is made yet.
It'll get there. But will. Keep in mind, I mean, I don't know if this probably doesn't matter to you, and if you're being happy with yourself or not may determine this or not either. But it's probably gonna be really expensive when they finally make it.
Well,
all those things.
It's just that they don't make it for my trim model. They've made it for the lower trim models, but because for some reason, it specifically says in the stuff that I bought, this is not compatible with the Badlands or the first edition model, which are the 2 top trim levels.
Which one did you get?
The Badlands.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The first editions, they only made a certain number of them and they were sold out within minutes. So the Badlands has everything the first edition has, just doesn't have the first edition badge. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, they've made stuff for all the lower trim models, all the things that I want.
Yeah.
But not the Badlands or the first edition yet.
That's weird, man.
So the first edition or the Badlands already comes with the 1-inch lift. All the other models below it doesn't. So there's some sort of compatibility there.
Right.
That they haven't made like the lift and stuff for it yet.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, typically manufacturers know what they can sell you or not, right?
Yeah.
And that's probably frustrating, especially for you, like in the specific vehicle you have.
Mm-hmm.
But relatable in the fact that, like, talking about day one or like, the first editions, I actually still own a day one version of the Xbox One, by the way.
Whoa.
Still to this day, I still play it. I still play on it currently.
Sure.
Now. And that thing sucks now. Dude, it freezes all the time. I mean, I'm constantly deleting and re-downloading games to make room on it.
They must have given you the iPhone update.
Yeah, pretty much.
Makes your battery last
pretty
shorter.
much, dude. I mean, it's updating constantly, and it's like, dude, this thing is driving me nuts.
Mm-hmm.
But going back to buying a type of item like that when it's at that limited availability, there are certain times where it's worth it, right? To me, that Xbox, I'll never make the money off of it that I paid for it.
No,
not ever. Strictly based on performance, right?
Right.
But I bought a day one edition of Xbox One. Does it really mean anything? No, but I love it, right?
Sure.
And the fact to be able you can look back at it now and be like, dude, it's 2021. I still have an Xbox day one.
Yeah.
I have an Xbox One day one.
Yeah.
And
that's pretty cool.
It is cool, right? And then you're going to be that type of guy. Not only do you currently have a Bronco when most people don't already as it is, you already have that exclusivity to it. Later on down the roads, you can be like, yeah, I ordered this thing and I got it before everyone else. And after, if you have it all tricked out at this point, you can be like, I've got all the stuff on it and it looks awesome. I've taken it on all these adventures and it comes with the stories with that, right?
Yeah.
Like the stories of mine not working for my Xbox. I mean, it's great. I love telling people it doesn't work, just because it's so old. No, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Those types of things, those types of exclusivity things do have their place, right? And sentimental value mostly, I think, though.
Yeah.
It's mostly almost always sentimental value.
I think the biggest thing that sold me on it, so I was going to buy a hatchback Mazda 3 or Mazda 6. Anyway, some Mazda CX something, right?
Yeah.
And fully loaded, all this stuff. And it's just like everyday Mazda.
Yeah.
Right. And that was cool. It had everything I wanted. Fine. But it was like $40,000 still.
Oh.
Right. But everything.
What year were you
2021, right? Everything is
okay.
2021. I did a build sheet on there just like I did with that. And, I did that pretty much with every single car manufacturer out there, right? With that style of crossover of some sort.
With like the commodities you needed, right? Like when you build it, when you have a specific thing you want, you're like, these are my wish list items. What can I get on there? So you use that as kind of like a cross-platform thing where you're like, these are the items I need on my build sheet for my vehicles.
Yes.
So that led you to the Bronco?
It did, right? Because as I was going through all the car manufacturers and doing this stuff and doing these build sheets, it was all $40,000, right? And whether it was a car or an SUV, didn't matter, right? I ended up anywhere between 30 and 40 grand, right?
Yeah.
So then I got to the Bronco and I was like, oh, this is like an SUV. This thing's sweet. It's new. It's cool. It's got all this cool stuff to it.
Yeah.
And it was still $40,000 at the highest possible price. So I was like, oh, well, I'm sold because I like this way more. This is exactly what I'm looking for.
That's pretty reasonable.
Sold.
That's pretty reasonably priced.
Yeah. It's not bad, right?
I would not have thought that.
I know. Yeah, it was not bad. And that's straight. I mean, it had 7 miles on it when I bought it.
Nah, dope.
Right? I mean, brand new
that's
factory
just to make
floor.
sure it works, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was pretty easy decision for me. I mean, I was sold, right away. Plus, I'm a Ford guy, so.
Yeah. Yeah, me too, man. I'm a Ford guy too. Speaking of, did you see the release of the Ford's Raptor R commercial?
No, not yet.
bro.
Pretty insane.
Yeah.
Need to watch this after
it's
this.
Good. You do. It goes to the tune and or the theme track of the commercial is Enter Sandman by Metallica.
Nice.
And it's mixed in with awesome road shots of the Raptor just tearing stuff up in like sand dunes and stuff, dude. My gosh. I mean, if you're screaming America to the top of your lungs, that's that commercial.
No kidding, huh?
Yeah. And it's even about a guy, the guy in the commercial is from what it seems like, he's going to pay respects to a friend he lost at a place that they used to regularly gather at.
Oh.
So not only is it bro love,
Yeah.
you got truck love, you got Metallica love,
damn,
and you got horsepower love in there, and it's just a great commercial with awesome cinematography in it.
Just
great
YouTube
shots.
It or what?
Yeah,
oh, man,
the Raptor R commercial featuring Metallica, dude, fantastic commercial.
Yeah, and they're like low price of $129,000.
Yeah,
sweet.
Was it? With 480 easy installments of $49.99.
But wait, there's more. There's also a bunch of additions you have to pay for. Gosh.
Order now. We'll throw in a spare tire for free. Yeah. No, but it's a great commercial, dude. It's fantastic. And then, so like, I still don't actually understand this myself. And we probably should have researched this a little bit before we came on here so we don't look like idiots. Or I don't, I guess. They have like there's trim levels of Raptors, right?
Sure, like any vehicle, yeah.
Right, which is weird because I thought Raptor itself was a trim level.
Of an F1 whatever. Yeah, I thought that was the highest one.
No. Well, okay. So F-150 has trim levels, right?
Okay.
And then there's the F-150 Raptor.
Okay.
In the F-150 Raptor, there is trim levels within the Raptor.
Gosh.
A lot of people don't know that.
I didn't know that.
But there are. There are trim levels within the Raptor trim level.
Yeah, I always thought Raptor was just the highest trim level of the F-150 or whatever it was.
Technically, you can consider it as that based on the price you pay for it, right? If that's what you're basing it off of, is strictly price.
Sure.
It is. It is the highest level. But within the Raptor trim level, there are also additional trim levels.
Gosh.
So it's trimception, baby.
What the heck?
It is. I swear to God.
Wow.
So speaking on that, the new one that's coming out, the 2021, or whenever they release it, it might even be 2022 by then. So they have the Raptor, they have the Raptor R, and then they're releasing the Raptor with the V8 in it.
Dude, that's with a supercharger?
Yes. Okay.
That's going to be nasty.
So two rumors speculated on it. One is it's the 7.3 Godzilla gasoline motor they just released in the F-250 series, the Super Duty series.
Jesus.
So the Super Duty series just got a new gasoline engine, the 7.3 gasoline version, which is a big, gigantic 7.3 liter V8 engine.
Yeah.
Huge monster, right? And everyone's touting it about how huge and fantastic it is. So they're saying that it's that with like a chip on it, tuned up and race ready. And then there's other rumors saying that it's the GT500, the Mustang GT500
No way.
V8 supercharged engine. Yeah. It's one of the two. And there's all kinds of leaked footage that you can find around on the internet or like people seeing it driving on the road where you can just hear that rumble and everyone's guessing and speculating on it. And there's rumors flying around that like, the Ford's union manager was saying that it's the 7.3 Godzilla crate motor with a super.
I haven't released any of this yet. Still to this day?
Not that I know of, dude. Not that I know of. And like I said, I wish I would have done a little bit more research on it.
I have to know.
I wish I did. I wish I did know about it because as far as I understand, they're releasing a V8 version of the Raptor, but I don't know what it is. And once again, it's going back to like, it's going to probably be like the $120,000.
Oh, it's going to be expensive.
120. Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. It doesn't look that much different.
Oh, you mean aesthetically? Like from 2020 to 2021?
Yeah.
Well, the F-150 got a new body makeover in 2021.
Yep, 7.3 liter pushrod Godzilla V8.
That's what they're putting in the Raptor?
Yeah.
Is it supposed to be supercharged? Please tell me it is.
The Super Duties.
Can't hear you.
I'm not saying anything. Yeah, I was trying to read to finish, but it's mostly just repeating exactly what you said. They said they're not sure which one between the GT500 or the Godzilla.
Oh, and the GT500 motor is the 5.2 liter.
Yeah, supercharged V8, and this is saying that the Godzilla V8 isn't a rever, and thus would be a poor fit for the Racy Raptor.
Right, because that 7.3 big block V8 seems more like it'd be more like just a runner, right? It's just a long time runner.
I mean, it's supercharged. How can you?
No, the GT500 5.2 liter supercharged. The 7.3 Godzilla I'm talking about. Did I mess it up?
I think so.
My bad. The GT500 motor is absolutely a race engine, right? They put it in their fastest Mustang they make.
Yeah.
So if they put that motor in a truck, that makes it the fastest truck they make, which would be sweet.
Man, that'd be insane.
It would be great.
It's dirty though, but yeah, I mean, it's only like 70,000 payments of $500 a month. So.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But I mean, Dodge or Ram, I should say. Ram has made the rival to it, right? The TRX.
Mm-hmm, saw that.
Yeah. So the Ram's got the TRX, and I haven't.
Looks pretty cool.
I have not given it enough attention. Probably that I probably should. I haven't really researched it a bunch, but they're saying that it's supposed to be insane, right? Like there's people that are hyped up about it. There's people that aren't talking about it at all because they're like, yeah, whatever. I mean, Ram has the Power Wagon already.
Right.
They've kind of always tried to have they had the Ram Rebel that was like underwhelming as far as supposed to be the competitor for the Raptor.
Yeah.
And then now they're like, well, Ram is making this TRX and it's supposed to be this big old Hellcat V8.
Yeah.
900 horsepower out of the box, just freaking rock your socks off. So we'll see, man. I mean, you got the big 1500 truck down going on right now with those big race trucks, in those Ford. So
sure.
They're supposed to, I think they're really trying to tailor these types of trucks to like the Baja style vehicles, right?
Yeah.
Big, nasty, nice suspension on them with nice wheels and tires and a big, fast, powerful motor in a truck, right?
Yeah. To sell to people that never take it anywhere other than the streets. Yeah.
Yeah, typically. Oh, no, seriously.
I wouldn't spend that much money and take it anywhere that's going to ruin it.
Well, the thing is that if I were wealthy enough to afford one of those, I would be absolutely wrecking that thing and pushing it to the absolute limit. I said
really?
If I had the money to afford
Sure, okay, I guess. I can't fathom that. Even if I did have the money, I don't know. It's tough.
Good point. If I had the money in my mind, what I'm thinking about is like if I had the money to just be able to just buy a Raptor.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
And
Straight out.
And I don't care what happens with it. Right.
Fair.
At that point, I would absolutely be wrecking that thing. I would be pushing it to the absolute limit.
Sure.
I would be getting it stuck constantly. I would be trying to roll it and like race people. And I mean, just absolutely trashing this thing.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, most people, I think.
But if it was a daily driver, you wouldn't do that shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But and that's the thing. I think a lot of people buy it as daily drivers. And like, yeah, I got this Raptor. And you're like, sick, dude. You got this big,
sweet.
You got this big, powerful motor with this nice, very super advanced, suspension system to just drive around the roads.
I can't wait for you to whip around somebody to be the first one to a red light. Yeah, that's all that's gonna happen.
Exactly.
Right? Oh, sweet. Exactly. Glad you fucking used that big old motor for that, buddy. Good job. That's all that's gonna happen.
Yeah, and that's what I mean by that for sure. It's like, yeah, they're cool. They are cool.
Yeah.
You want to talk about too cool for school? I think it's the Ford Raptor. But guess what? The majority of the customers that buy those, they drive them from home to work and from work to home.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say this because I know he's never going to see this probably, hopefully, maybe. But like my stepdad, right? He had a Raptor.
Yeah.
Daily driver, working back, highway.
Dope.
Listen to audiobooks the whole way back and forth. So it's like, I don't know.
How cool is it?
It's like, did you really use it for anything it was meant for? No. You wasted your money and you played yourself. So whatever. Yeah, to each his own, though. To each his own. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
You want to spend that money, go ahead.
Look, dude, if I had the ideal vehicle set up for what I wanted, I would have a Ford Raptor V8. Newer one or Gen 1, doesn't matter. I just would go with the V8. And then I would have a Dodge Challenger Hellcat Demon Red Eye.
Yeah, you would.
right?
You would, and I would love it, and I would also take one.
Yes. That is my dream, like, combo.
Mm-hmm.
One for summer, one for not summer.
Yeah.
One for every other season but summer. And that'd be the Raptor.
Oh, man.
Because here's the thing. I'm a big Ford guy when it comes to trucks.
Sure.
Big time Ford guy. Yeah. Love Ford. Much love to Ford. But when it comes to cars, I'm not sold on. I'm a big Mopar guy, like old school traditional Mopar, right? I just am. Have been for a long time. I always just like aesthetically like their vehicles better. I just like their how their vehicles perform, how they sound, all of that. You know, I mean, big can of worms again, right? Especially guys that are into cars. Oh my gosh, we probably sound like idiots, and they're like, oh, "These guys suck."
Pretty much, yeah, probably.
But I've always been a Mopar guy for car, like muscle cars. Always have been Mopar, big time. So, in my ideal world, if money were no object, Dodge Hellcat Demon Challenger, Ford F-150 Raptor. Yeah. I'm set. I'm set. Yeah.
Very sweet.
It would be
little Saturday, Sunday driver, and then a daily driver on the weekdays.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Because the thing is, too, is that, like, obviously, if you had money, you would want to buy things that you probably would pull places like a boat.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to Chris Jansen's song.
Heck yeah.
An F-150 Raptor can pretty much pull any boat you want to anywhere you need to do.
Oh, yeah.
Almost any boat within reason, right? I'm not talking about a yacht, obviously. Like,
no. I mean, all that matters is your $120,000 wake boat anyway.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And it can pull that.
Right. Oh, man, that would be a sexy combo. You can color match that shit. I'd be all about that life.
I also would all be all about that life.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I couldn't let my boat cost more than my car that pulls it. That'd make me sad.
Dude, I can't believe how expensive boats are.
Here in Colorado, they are. Any other state? Not.
Really?
Yes.
Now, here's the other thing, though. When I was explaining earlier in the episode about boating and like drinking beer, I'm actually not a big like recreational boat guy. To an extent, I'm a big fan of pontoon boats.
Really?
Yes, big fan.
I'm not on board. Explain to me why.
Okay,
sell me on it.
Let me tell you why. I might not be able to sell you on this.
Probably not.
But I'll tell you the reason why I love it. Now, the reason why I'm a big pontoon boat guy is because I'm not a very big water sport guy.
Okay.
I'm a very big fishing guy, for one, which typically never goes hand in hand with a wakeboard sport style, leisure boat. And two, I'm a big party guy. I like partying.
Sure.
And to me, when I look at a pontoon boat, it is a big flat platform floating on big two metal tubes. That is just a gigantic party deck. And when it's you by yourself or one other person, it's a good fishing boat, right? That's why I love pontoons, because I love tubing, right? Tubing's fun. I've done tubing a lot, but like wakeboarding, wake surfing, I've never cared about that stuff. I just never have. It's not something that I've liked or had any interest in. I'm more of like big open flat party barge is my idea of a good time on a boat in the water. And or if that's empty and gone, I'm sitting there by myself fishing. That's my idea of a boat.
Okay.
That's what I like. That's why I'm a pontoon guy.
Hey, man. Teach his own.
Tell me why you're not a pontoon guy.
It's not that I'm not a pontoon guy. It's just that I'm way more of a sport boat, jet boat, whatever, sexy, sleek, fast. That's what I like. Yeah. I'm all about, I want those freaking wake towers. I want the speakers on them. I just want it to go fast on the water, and I want to have fun with it. If I'm going to spend the money, I want to have as much diversity as possible. You can fish off of a freaking wake boat if you want.
I'm sure you can,
You can party on a wake boat if you want.
Yeah.
You can also do all the other things too for people that do like to do those things. You just be the driver.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's the way I see it.
The driver.
Your wife could be the driver. I don't know. You can drink. I don't care.
I'm going to hire my 12-year-old nephew to be the driver.
So no, that's just where I'm at. I definitely understand the allure of just being able to let it float around and kick back and do your thing on a pontoon boat. I do get that, but
yeah, that's just my thing though. Is like, I don't have any interest in going fast on the water.
sure.
That's
Yeah.
also another thing too, right? I have no interest in going fast on water. I don't care for that because I'm just like, I'm more of the type that's like, I want to find the party cove.
Yeah.
I want to have my boat of my people
Yeah.
to have fun.
That's what like 90% of those wake boats do anyway. So
Yeah, you're right. You are right. Because, I mean, how many wakeboard boats can be out there with wakeboard professionals being wakeboard riding behind them? You know what I mean?
yeah, it's rare for sure.
Especially in Colorado.
Yeah.
I mean, you see the dude. I've seen those boats being towed around here, and even up through like Montana, dude. You know, in these flyover states, when you see those types of boats, you're like, damn, those people have money, number one.
Yeah.
Or they have none and they're about to go bankrupt. They're either super wealthy or super broke.
Yeah.
And or it's like, damn, how many people you know you're going to pull in that thing that is going to wakeboard? I mean, kudos for you for those people, those niche pockets of people that have that.
Yeah.
But I think that percentage is so small, it's ridiculous.
My whole thing too of why I will never buy a boat in Colorado is because you can use it for such a short amount of time. It's such a massive investment for such a short use product.
Nah, don't get me wrong here. I don't want to buy a boat. To preface this whole conversation about boats, I don't want to buy one.
Sure.
I don't want to buy one because for the exact reason you're talking about.
Right.
Because where we live, it's just not feasible. There's no way.
It's feasible. It's just dumb.
It is, okay. It's understandable.
Sure.
But at the same time, it's a commitment and not worth it in my opinion.
Yeah.
It is not worth the commitment to own a boat here in Colorado.
If I can't do something at least 9 out of the 12 months, I'm not sure I really want
that's for the
big
birds,
part
man.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's for the birds. I'm over that. I don't want that.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, man, I just don't think boats are worth it in Colorado.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think they are. But to each their own. I don't hate on it. I don't want to.
If you got the money, I get it.
Yeah, absolutely. You got the money and free time to be able to have one.
Free time's a big one too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm all for it. And if you invite me on it, I won't say no.
Yeah, agreed. I wouldn't either.
It is what it is. But hey, man, I appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having me here. Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you spending the time. You're always welcome back.
Cool.
Let me know when you want to get back together and we'll make another one. And, don't be a stranger.
Heck yeah. Part 1B next time.
Yeah. We'll have
buddy.
We'll have.
I like these cold snacks though. Pretty good.
Super cold.
So snacky.